All right, welcome back to another Total OS Today Live. Tonight's topic, let's talk a little bit about net neutrality. Some of you have asked about this. I think what we'll do for this one, I really wanted to know what you think about this and open this up really more as a forum for you guys to voice your opinions about this good and bad. But for tonight's live event, I'm going to focus a little bit on the last Mintcast podcast and number 270, and they actually had a nice little chat on net neutrality that I think does a pretty good job of explaining the pros and cons of net neutrality. So I think that's what we'll do for tonight. Keep it short. Let me transition here. Do this. Rose is in the house. Hello, Rose. How are you? So what we'll do here is wait a few minutes, and then we won't listen to the entire hour and 45 minutes of the Mintcast. It's about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll go from there. So let me scoot that over. How are you, Rose? I think what I'll do here, just pause this. Isn't live good? You get to see all the little secrets, the ins and outs behind the scenes of a live event. Isn't this fun? Anyway, I'm doing good, Rose. Nice warm day today. Finished cutting the grass before it got dark. Supposed to meet a friend of mine, but she had to take her mom to the hospital for some routine tests or something. So thought I would jump on tonight. Something that I've been meaning to talk about, net neutrality. Cody Smith, hello. And Mark, how you guys doing? Alright, so I would say about another minute. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to start the Mintcast is awesome. Yeah, it's not bad, Cody. It's been around for a long time. They've done 270 episodes. That's a lot. That's a lot of episodes. Now, I've been following them for a few years. It's not, of course, it's from Linux Mint. They talk mainly about Linux Mint and other news items. Can't really say it's really for beginners, but to me, it's interesting. In the last podcast they did, number 270, they talked about net neutrality. And I thought it was a very good discussion. So I'm going to start that here. Mark, I'm doing good. Thank you. Net neutrality is needed for sure. If anyone else thinks it isn't, is deluded. Well, we're going to listen to this, and you can post your comments as we listen together, and I'll reply in the chat. Haddock Dev is in the house. How are ya? Looks like the stream looks good. Sound looks good. Okay. Remember listening to them back when Mint 10 was the latest. Okay. Yeah, at one time they had 3-4 co-hosts. Now they're down to 2. I should have wrote down some notes. I believe it's Isaac and Rob. I may be wrong, and if I get it wrong, I do apologize to those 2 hosts. But interesting stuff. On the last Mintcast, number 270. So you can go to the mintcast.org website and download the podcast. They are free. And voice your opinion. But for tonight, we'll take a listen starting at about the 13-minute mark and their discussion of net neutrality, which I thought was very good. So what I will do now is pause my mic, and then we'll listen to this. And as we listen together, feel free to voice your opinions, and if I feel the need to respond, I will respond in chat. Haddock Dev, recovering from power outage. Oh no. Digo. The internet should be monitored for illegal and harmful content, but shouldn't be done by a government. Okay. Against DRM by W3C. Yeah, Brian Lunduke talked about that. So yeah. Clifford, hi. Don't mind me, I'm just going to lurk back here. You're going to be sneaky. That's fine. So, looks like people are starting to join in. Thought I would do this, not starting this too late. Yeah, I think it will be interesting because this, I kind of agree somewhat of what they had to say about it. Uh, for me, well, I'll give you my opinion when we end this about net neutrality. That one fat kid is in the house. Okay. Methods, suggestions. What do you mean? Suggestions on how to fix net neutrality? I don't know. Brad Shea 212. Time to switch to Fedora. Not going to happen. Nope. Tried it once. It wasn't for me. Yeah, there's too much tinkering involved to get it running the way I want to. Right now I'm happy with Mint Mate. I've been tinkering with Revenge OS and Tergos. History proves that letting companies monitor themselves doesn't really work. At least some companies, right? Yeah. Chip Catalano is in the house. What's up, man? Tonight's topic is net neutrality. Hello. And we're going to take a listen to about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little longer, about net neutrality from the last mintcast.org. Mintcast Podcast 270. They had a very good discussion of it, and I thought it was pretty good. All right, so it looks like everybody can hear me. And Diego and Tergos. All right, man. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. Yeah, I found it beginner friendly, so not too bad. All right, let me get situated here. Last time I knocked the wiring and unplugged my mic. I think we're good. Cough, Comcast. You know what? If it wasn't for Comcast, I couldn't do this. I tried DSL. It was too slow. Comcast, a little more pricey. I'll do what I can to pay the bills. I wish he had more ad revenue, but it is what it is. Rose likes MX16.1. Okay. I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to play the podcast, and feel free to post your comments in the chat, and I will respond, okay?
Net neutrality. There was a big stink about that over the last week or so. And anybody who came to the Mintcast website may have noticed that we activated a gadget that would kind of pester people about net neutrality. And I've got a link to an article on Medium, which I'm furiously trying to post into the IRC so that people can go look at it while we're talking, that says why you should care. So this guy wrote an article on why I care about this, and drew a nice picture that shows basically what the discussion sort of seems to be about. The new business-friendly U.S. political environment has decided that these rules about regulating the internet are just a heavy hand. They're just rules, and we should get rid of them and let the internet regulate itself, and blah blah blah. At least that's the story that's coming across. And the problem with that is that the people who are in the position where they want to make money are interested in making money from the internet, of course. That's what they do, is they make money from the internet. And so what they want to do is they want to charge money for access to or for use of the internet by websites. So when I hit a YouTube video, for example, then the YouTube guys or the ISP wants to be able to say to YouTube, hey, such a nice stream you got here. Be a shame if it couldn't get through to your users. Why don't you pay me a little bit of money, because this video stuff chews up a lot of bandwidth, so pay me some money. And so YouTube, in order to be able to have people within that ISP's scope be able to see their YouTube videos, they would have to pay the ISP a little bit of money, or a lot of money, or I don't know, however much the ISP thought they could get from YouTube. If YouTube said, no, we won't pay you, then the ISP would say, fine. Then when people go to your YouTube video, it'll come at 300 baud. Is that okay for you? And so what that means is that people that don't have a lot of money can't get their message out to the people who want to be able to see it. It's, the flow of the information is controlled by the ISP. So that's a admittedly very biased explanation of what's going on. Then there are other ways that you could explain that, but that's the way that it seemed to hit me. And so, yeah, there was a day of action for net neutrality that was on July 12th that Highlander stuck in the IRC, and that's what was motivating. That's what the changes. I put some change on our website that the WordPress guys suggested that would give you some sort of an indication of what would happen to websites like ours. To be honest, we are the guys that are going to have trouble dealing with this because we're too small, we don't have any money, and we're not going to pay anything for anybody to be able to get our content. So if you want to be able to listen to the Mintcast, the ISP is going to say, oh, well, sorry, you're not going to be able to do that because you're not one of the big players, and so we won't let your stuff through. Or we would have to go find a provider of web space who was big enough to pay all the ISPs to get through, and then presumably that's going to cost us some money. We're going to have to pay them a little bit to get our stuff. So it gets rid of a lot of the free, low-cost content generation that really is characterizing the internet today.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to word this, because I believe in net neutrality. I do not believe that the government getting involved is going to fix everything. And I also feel like this day is numbered. Like it's coming a time where this is going to get crushed, no matter how you lay it out. And I think the problem, I'm trying to, after reading all these libertarian books.
Yeah, I know. I was interested to see what does a libertarian think of net neutrality.
I've become very much, I don't agree at all with the government getting involved with net neutrality. But the problem with it is they have to get involved because they've let it run amok. So a long time ago, they should have crushed these big businesses from allowing them to just play ball amongst themselves and not allowing anybody else to do it. I can't remember the exact story, and I wish I had searched before this, but I feel like there was a town somewhere in America, a little small town USA, that basically put together their own internet. It was broadcasted amongst themselves, but they were told to cease and desist because you're not allowed to do that unless you're one of these big ISPs.
Well, you're not allowed to do it if you're the government, is I think what those guys ran into. They said that you're a government, you can't be an ISP. There was some, I don't know how they got it stopped, but it was because they were a municipal government that is the thing that got them.
So I think that's the problem. As much as I understand where like that libertarian mindset would come from, things have been put in motion so hard that even if you came in now and said, hey, the government shouldn't be involved, let the marketplace take care of itself. Well, the marketplace has become completely saturated with the powers that be, and it's almost impossible for people to show up now to get in and make a dent on that marketplace. But maybe that would encourage the answer to fixing Comcast, Verizon, who else is there, Charter, AT&T, these big conglomerates that we can't put a dent on. Maybe that would be the fix, would be to allow Joe Blow and company to start forming up stuff on their own, and slowly, as more people roll off to them, that's the whole libertarian mindset, is that the marketplace, right, there eventually competition would come into play that would help this out. So I totally believe in net neutrality. I want to be able to search for whatever I want to, however I want to, with the same speeds of any other website as Netflix or not. But I'm a little twisted now, because I realize that if the government keeps getting involved, eventually they're going to stop getting involved. And I don't see them already currently being involved. It's not helping matters out any, because I just see Comcast running away with it. Because, as well, I mean, look at it now. I'm moving on my apartment to the house, and it's already, like, there's only two choices. It's either Verizon or Comcast. That's it. There's not a magic third provider out there that I can get to service my area. And already here, it's the same story. That's just how it works. And so I'm a little twisted, but I hate it, because I know in the future, if somehow we survive this round against Ajupai, or whatever his name is, that is running the FCC now, if we survive this round with it, I don't think it's going to. It's just like encryption. That day is coming. No matter how you weigh it out, the government and the powers that be are going to force that hand. And I don't know the real answer for how we get net neutrality on the same playing field that we want everyone to be on. Because right now, if we blow away the government, then Comcast and the gang are going to roll in and just bulldoze everyone over. And it's going to take all of us smaller folks to come together to form up a new, almost ISP or some concept of distributed networking, to where we can get around the gang that is. But I think they've been given so much leverage over the past so many years that it's going to be really hard to get that marketplace competition-wise back to what it needs to be.
Yeah, the issue in my mind, and I think I'm a let's see, how would I say? I'm a fiscal conservative with libertarian leanings who's a social liberal. How about that? So I'm a conflicted individual, to be honest. So here's the issue as I see it. It costs a fair amount of money to build the equipment, or buy and build the infrastructure to deliver internet access to a bunch of people, right? So somebody's got to spend some money, and somebody has spent money to run wires to my house, and they've got computers and routers and stuff in data centers all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, how do you pay for that? Capitalism says some enterprising company comes along and they invest all the capital, and then they want to turn around and charge people for access to that, and that's how they pay back the capital. Okay, well, so that's reasonable, and that's what the FCC, that's what their current noise making is sort of implying, is that, well, they're just going to let the market sort it out, and so people will either, this is one way to get your money back is to charge people for bandwidth. Okay, so that's a reasonable sort of idea, and that gets the government out of it, because I agree, the government is unlikely to do it well, because they don't do very many things well, because they don't have the right kind of motivations generally. But that is arguing against this concept of net neutrality. So net neutrality is an idea that says every service on the internet, well, the one article says net neutrality means that every service on the internet competes on a level playing field. So the users decide who wins. Okay, so that doesn't address the question of who provides the internet.
Yep.
At that level, the idea is that the internet is like, well, who provides the telephone system? When the telephone system first came along, they had exactly the same problem. There are some places that it's really expensive to run telephone to. And so do you charge those people out there a lot of money for their telephone, and you charge people in the city a small amount of money? Is that how you pay for it? Well, as a society and as a as people, we generally, around the world, people generally decided, no, that's not really fair. We want everybody to have access to telephone, to electricity, to water. Some of those are not good examples, but the notion of the mail service and telephone and stuff is where this regulated as a public utility, a thing that is good for people generally, and that's the way that they're currently regulating the internet, is as a public utility, and that says you can't charge some people more than you charge other people. You have to charge everybody the same. So the issue comes down to who pays for it. How do we get this thing paid for? If the cost is low enough, then it doesn't matter, because there's not enough money there to worry about, and you just give it to everybody and you make money on the content. I think the issue that we're facing, and that you've raised properly, is that there's a lot of money involved in the internet now. And so you got these great big companies, Comcast, Verizon, who are making a lot of money, well, let me back up a minute, who have invested an enormous amount of money building infrastructure, and now they want to charge a lot of money to make back that investment. The problem with those companies is that they have an unlimited appetite for profit. So they won't stop charging people. They won't get to the point where they say, hey, we've made back all the money we spent, and so now we're going to reduce all our prices. That is never going to happen. They will continue to charge people as much as they possibly can for as long as they possibly can.
Yep.
And that's what's wrong with removing all the regulation. Until somebody figures out how to come in and provide that same service for almost nothing. So you have to start an ISP that says we're not going to charge people for bandwidth.
Yeah, that's the
you got to start a company like that. So how do you do that? Well, you have to figure out how you're going to make money. What are you going to charge people? Do you charge users? Do you charge content providers? Who pays for the service?
Yeah, you bring up some good points, because that's the part of the equation that always makes me laugh, which is they choose to say, oh, hey, we don't want the government in here blocking us up for making money, but we do want the government in here blocking you off from getting into our money, which is creating so it's easier for more ISPs to get pulled together for competition to show up in the marketplace. And that's what I always laugh about, and it's that whole that's what that libertarian mindset is. What they're trying to say is we don't want the government fixing it, but if you're going to say that, you equally, like, the ISPs want to ride with that half of the equation, but they don't understand that there's the other half that is equally part of that libertarian concept, which is, hey, the laws that you are allowing to be put in place to crush the smaller guy, those have to go too.
Yeah, the munis, you can't push against the munis.
Okay, I wanted to, I don't want to drag that anymore, but what are your thoughts about what we just heard? I know there's a lot of information, so let's see. That's why law enforcement are tracking. Believe me, I have 2 girls of my own, 17, 16. If any of those sickos were eyeing my girls, they would want the cops get before I do. Yeah. Should we pay for privacy? I guess companies have to. But with the issue of net neutrality, to me, putting aside what was said on that terrific Mintcast podcast number 270. If you're joining in late, we listened to a brief, somewhat brief discussion topic of net neutrality on the mintcast.org website. Mintcast, from the users of Linux Mint, of course. To me, it's all about a balance between the companies and what we pay for. So, on the one hand, you have the companies. On the other hand, you have price. And what is a fair market value that combines those two things? I don't know, I'll be honest. We've talked, there was discussion here about privacy. Let's see here. Too many take too much for granted. You always have to worry. You are paying for privacy. I am. Pay for, okay, well, if you're paying for a VPN, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. I would have to agree. You're just paying too much because it is constantly being rebranded. No one cares about what you search, but if you're a target, it's because you crossed the line. But how does this fit in with the issue of net neutrality and the free and open internet? Let's see here. According to Wikipedia, net neutrality is the principle that internet service providers and governments regulating the internet must treat all data on the internet the same, not discriminating or charging differently by user, content, website, platform, application, type of attached equipment, or mode of communication. Must treat all data the same. Is that even possible? Do companies have a right to throttle, their service? Nothing to hide. Well, on these live events, we have nothing to hide, right? Just let it all out. But those are my thoughts about this topic. I don't know where this will lead to. Perhaps that discussion / rant that Brian Lundug did, you may want to take a listen to that in the W3C, I believe. But to me, it's all about balance, price versus service, and fair market value, putting aside the issue of privacy, security, balance, and fair market value. And I don't know where this will lead to in the end. I really don't. It would be nice to have a free and open internet to keep it even. But where is that even sweet spot? Google sells info to law enforcement for good reason. People think they got privacy. What a joke, unless you use Thor. By the power of Thor and the hammer. Yeah, I know, Brad. You have not went to a site by mistake in the lifetime of being... Well, I think law enforcement is looking for a pattern, right? I think. I don't know. But in reality, there is almost no competition. Well, here where I live, Rose, about 2-3 years ago, I had a choice between Comcast and AT&T. Both companies are fine. I've had both. But DSL here is not very good, at least where I live. If I had to choose DSL, I probably couldn't do this. I would have saved myself some money, but I couldn't do this. So I had to go back to Comcast because it just plain works. It would be nice to have a third option like Google or somebody else, but right now we don't have it. If the price is free, you are the product. I guess in a way, a lot of YouTubers are, because when I'm not charging for this, so I guess I am the product, Anthony. Interesting perspective. Doomed Josh. Josh, I hope you are not doomed. Hey Toss, hey everyone. Unfortunately, tiered packaged internet and fast lanes almost look like inevitability. Again, I don't know. Doomed. You think too much. Yeah, well, that's what these live events are for. There isn't all laughter and joking. We have to think, right? It keeps us on our toes, Anthony. I know, Windows 10, we are all tracked. I know. Believe me, I don't like it, but I have nothing to hide. So, Some people don't want to show up on Google Images. Okay. I don't want to be, but you can still search up my name and you can see me and my family. That's a fair statement, yeah. Yeah. You know, I suppose once someone gets on YouTube and starts producing videos, all privacy or some privacy is lost. That's a given. But I do know what you mean, yeah. The government should not regulate the internet. We need to get rid of ICANN and the globalist United Nations owned by W3C. Linux for life. Well, I've been using Linux now for the last 7 years. Have you heard about Windows might be heading towards forced incompatibility like what Apple does? Yes, there was. I think I talked about it last night, where computer systems, or I'm sorry, hardware that's not that old will not be able to run Windows 10 updates. I have a 6-year-old Lenovo that still works. It's my backup, but if it comes to that, I'll just go full Linux, full time on that one. But yeah, Digo, I have heard of that. I don't like it. Now, of course, if your computer is 10 years old or more, I mean, come on, you know. But yeah. Charlie Brano, good day. All this net neutrality seems to be the thing Aussies have been going through for 15, 20 years. What exactly is going on as an Aussie, Charlie, with this net neutrality? For 15, 20 years? Software as a service? Here we have a cable or DSL provider, but because of the speed variance, they don't compete directly. Yeah, cable is usually a lot faster than DSL, at least where I live. These ISPs engage in collusion as to not compete and give the consumer a choice. Okay. 3264-bit migration seems to be the slowest bit migration. King Herring, hello. All I want to do is hand out internet IDs. The UK is going to be requiring IDs. Oh. Okay, I mean, hey, might as well require it everywhere. Internet IDs? Like a driver's license? The name is somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Got it. Okay, cool. But that's not really competition. It's really an oligopoly. 2 companies, you need 5 or more. At least 3. 5 is good, though. 5 is good. I think here if we had to somebody mentioned Google, I would try Google. Google Fiber out west, I heard, is really fast. You know. We have had ISPGL blocking, capping, data throttling. We pay double, triple. Whoa, really? For the same thing compared to USA, Canada, UK. Wow. That's not fair. There's no balance or fair market value there. Not at all. Yeah, really. I don't know. The processor structure changes. Yeah, it's changed a lot. The government and AU have been monitoring, keeping tabs. Uh-oh. Oh, my. Let me get out of this here. Built-in tracking. Oh. Nothing we can do as voters. That's not good. Video card USA 250, 500 in Australia. Wow. I know the feed here is a little choppy, but wow. Double. When can we finally get third-party open source ISPs from Iceland? I like Iceland. They put their bankers in jail when they break the law. They don't get bonuses like here in the States. Have privacies to basically live multiple lives. One for real? for that occasional Starbucks coffee, and one on the internet. Interesting. Netflix AU gets 1/10 the content. Wow. That's not fun at all. Switzerland is better for a VPN. Okay. All right. Enjoy the internet. Do not pay attention until it happens to you. Live and let live, right? I haven't noticed any throttling here. If it is, again, it seems to be working fine. I have the mid-tier service from Comcast that seems good enough. So, a study was released the other day. We in the AU have the most expensive power. Wow. Is there a reason for that? You know, Australia is a beautiful country for what I've seen, but it's not cheap, is it? Used to be a time there was online in the real world. Now there is a collision of the two. Comcast throttles Xbox apps? No kidding, Digo. Of all the things. Okay. Huh. I wonder why. $95 a month, 5,000 gig. Just for the internet, huh? Is it reliable at least? Charlie? Probably going to wrap this up here in about 5 minutes, okay? All the government-owned utilities are getting privatized. Doesn't seem to me like that's a positive, Charlie. I'm sorry to hear that. Haddock have not been affected yet. I've never used Windows 10. Microsoft offered it free for a reason. Yeah, Brad, I know. The government uses Linux for a good reason. Fedora, okay. I like Linux Mint. We used to get free data for Xbox. Oh, live on a few ICSPs, but they stopped that. Speed is the power on the net. Who has the power? Yeah. If I didn't have fast enough speed with this, I couldn't do this live event. And DSL didn't work. Maybe it's better now. I don't know, but use Netflix on Android or iOS. It's fast, but Xbox without no other devices, bandwidth is slow and laggy. I'm not on my Xbox as much as I used to be. I'm doing these more now. I don't recall having issues on my Xbox. Again with Comcast. Power here sucks. I've installed so many UPSs. Oh my goodness. Australia now. You have the opposite season. Summer here and winter over there, right, Charlie? I think. Capitalism is the answer. Well, sometimes, King Herring. You thinking Mint Mate? Yeah, I like it. The Mint Mate is pretty good. Ubuntu Mate is pretty good. Zorin Lite, Linux Lite. Yeah. Free market capitalism, not corporatism. But King Herring, how do you separate the two? I'm not sure you can. Everyone needs to be be the same on the net. Everything is the problem is everything is everything is in US dollars. Okay, yeah. Currency exchange, that can be a problem. It always feels like summer there. Okay. Game on PC will never go back. Joe, I do game on my Windows 10. I think you know I play Asphalt 8 Airborne. I am playing more on my PC than on my Xbox. You know, that now that my son is a teenager, has his own car. I don't think he's ever on the Xbox now, but he used to be. But let's see. Personally, I am one of the very few people here that have more knowledge on the tech side. Okay, I've been trying to teach people. I've made one of my friends switch, but he doesn't take care of his install. What do you mean, Haddock? In Linux, just install all the updates in one shot and you're done, right? Same as equal. Okay, Anthony. The government has sparked up being in Australia. Okay. Fedora LXQT at work. Ah, okay. OpenSUSE I've tried. This is not bad. It's not bad. I've tried countless of probably hundreds of different distros over the years. I just settled on the ones that I'm comfortable with. Ubuntu, Linux Mint. The latest KDen Live is pretty good. I've been dabbling with Revenge OS and Tergos, Arch-based. Joe says, I loved it when you showed us how you played on that game, airborne air rolls and such. Oh, man, I got to tell you, Joe, it's like therapy, you know? When you see people texting and driving and not paying attention, I'm playing that game, I'm driving, and I'm whacking that car. You got mail, whack. That's right, keep on texting, whack. Phone call, whack. Just, it's therapeutic. You know, you can't do it in real life. Anyway, summer in Australia is December through February. Okay, got it. The main problem I run into is people do not know, don't want to know, just want to point and click. Okay. The earth is flat. ETS2, a good relaxing game. Okay, ETS2. Yes, I did see English Bob seems quite high on Solus Mate at the moment. Yes, I did see that. He always has his switching favorite distros. First it was what? Ubuntu, then Ubuntu Mate, then it was Peppermints. This is his best one, his favorite one. Then he had Ubuntu. Is your game multiplayer? Will be the German with MG42, especially with your spouse? Ah. Rose, if you play Asphalt 8 Airborne on Windows, I'll race ya. He doesn't run apt update upgrade at all? Why? That's not good. Anthony Tucker enjoying this channel? Well, thank you, Anthony. Cheers. So many lazy idiots asking for an answer on, I guess, Facebook instead of 5 seconds of YouTube, Google. Okay, I guess that's fair. Brad wants to install BSD or Gentoo. If you want a headache. Do you want a headache? I don't think so. He is a real hopper. Maybe even Arch. My goodness, Brad. Oh, it's Euro Truck Simulator. I don't do trucking games. Yeah, I'll stick with Asphalt 8 Airborne. Cheers, Mark. Are you leaving? I'm probably going to end this soon here, yeah. Still looking for a KVM user on the channel. Kernel virtual machines. Ah, okay. Yeah, English Bob. One time Windows 7 was his favorite OS, or is it Windows XP now? I don't know what he's doing. He was trying to live stream with Windows XP, I guess, as an experiment. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, last call here, just a few more minutes, okay? This was fun. Oh, sudo reboot the real distro hopper. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Oh, you're still there? Okay, Mark. Cool. Cool. I'm glad I caught you too, Albert. Thank you for stopping by. Charlie, you want to do hardware GPU pass through in Linux using Kumu. That's a lot of Pumus. Do you to see what your total profile looks like? Oh, you know my profile here on YouTube. Do you know how to turn off the control shift? I don't use it that much, so I don't know it. I don't know, Haddock. Yeah. Windows XP in 2017. You ask English Bob. I don't know what he's up to. King, Windows XP Gold. What the heck is Windows XP Gold, King? I don't know that one. I'll be honest. XP Gold? Is that a modified version? I've heard of Windows XP Lite. I don't know. Windows XP the GOAT. Windows Vista. Vista. Oh, what a headache that was. Yeah. One of the fails in human history was Vista. They got it right with 7. Try looking at my profile from 5 years ago. Well, people change. I don't know. Modified. Okay. Windows XP Gold. Interesting. I'll have to search that. The gold standard of Windows. Modified by some Middle Eastern dudes. Oh, I see. Enlight was good years ago. That could mod XP. Again, but what's the purpose of all that? Just for fun? WinME was the worst. I never used it. Windows 2000 Professional was pretty good. They got it wrong with Windows 10 Rose. They got the politics wrong. The security and privacy, they got it wrong. Technically, it's fine in my opinion. It looks good. Modified called the light version. Okay. All right. Yeah, Joe, I was thinking about it. You should be able to disable the command by hitting by hitting backspace and save. Okay, all right. Where you were, who you talked to. Anthony, again, I have nothing to hide, or I mean, if I said or said things in the past that was a mistake or stuff like that, you know, hey, we're all human, but I guess it doesn't bother me that much. View, yes, Python programming, okay. And light stripped out the removed IEMP services, clean, slick, and good. Oh, okay. Gold is hacked version. Okay, all right. The light version is Windows XP now. Okay. I don't know. I don't really have that much of a motivated to go Windows from the past. You know, Windows 10 for me, it just works. Gaming is good. I don't use it that often, Windows 10, but it works. So until my hardware becomes incompatible, Microsoft, are you listening? I think I have Windows XP in a virtual machine, or I'm going to install it. I want to go back and play some Need for Speed PC games, like from back around 98. Just letting you know, is there no right or wrong? Okay, Anthony. Oh, Silent Partner, the music. It is relaxing. Maybe next time. Yeah, tonight we listened to the Mincast podcast. That's why I didn't play Silent Partner music. It is kind of, get kind of hooked on it. Yeah, it is kind of relaxing. Yeah, but next time, I promise. There was no shortcut if I look for that, but I can't see. It kind of changed the key of symbols. Yeah, I don't know. been asking game studios to support OpenGL, OpenAL, and Linux. It's amazing how many studios refuse to move away from .NET and DirectX. Well, it's a lot of people play those type of games. Need for Speed 2 was one of the best games ever. I remember Flat Out. Flat Out was crazy. Nice talking to you, Anthony. Yeah, I think I have Flat Out on my on the first Xbox. I used to play with my boy. Anyway. Good night, Mark. Thank you for stopping by. All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to end this here. So, again, net neutrality. I don't know where this will lead us to. It's about, to me, it's about balance, fair market value. How do we, what is the sweet spot for that balance? And right now, I really don't know. Test drive back on Amigas, yeah. So, but a lot of old DOS games, yeah. I think people do enjoy those. You know, throw it back to a simpler time. But the only game I play right now on Windows 10 is Asphalt 8 Airborne. I'm sure there's more than one good game. That's a free download. But there's something, again, therapeutic about Asphalt 8 Airborne. In fact, when I'm done with this, I'm going to have to boot into Windows 10 for some more therapy. So, all right, guys, one more minute for real and I'm done. So, any final thoughts before I wrap this up? Again, if you want to listen to the entire podcast, go to mintcast.org. I think it was Rob and Isaac, if I get that wrong, and those guys are listening to this later on, I apologize, but it's Mintcast 270. It is a free download, and you can listen to the entire podcast if you so want to from the team at Linux Mint. So, yeah. Anything else? Because I am done. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. And we'll see where this net neutrality takes us. So in the meantime, yeah, keep posting your comments. Take a listen to the Mintcast podcast 270, and maybe take a listen to Brian Lunduke's take on all this stuff. So good night, Doom Josh. Good night, everybody, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you, Charlie. And, yep, catch you on the next one. Take care.